Least powerful and least expensive of our group is the £17,000 Westfield XI, a factory-built replica of the sleek, Colin Chapman-designed Lotus 11 of the 50s. Although it borrows heavily from a donor MG Midget, it has more ability than you might imagine. And if you fancy building one of these for yourself, a kit without a donor car costs just £9,000.
I think it's impossible not to fall in love with this car from the moment you see it. It's so different to anything else. You kind of forget all about the fact that it's an old MG Midget under the skin, and it's much slower. But like some of the other cars, say the Atom is 10 times quicker on a lap, but you can just bond with the car so well that the speed really doesn't matter, because everything, you know, the brakes aren't very good. There's not much grip. There's certainly not much power, but the way it all works together makes it enormous fun.
It's the antithesis of the Radical, really, but it just shows that even with 60 horsepower, if the chassis is right, you can have a load of fun. And in this thing, it's just an exercise in never hitting the brakes, really, isn't it? You just lift and have a little.
Yeah, you try and carry as much speed as you possibly can. And although it slides, you're so sensitive to every mile an hour that you don't want a big slide. You just want whatever it takes to carry the most speed. So if it's a few degrees of lock, that it just feels like your optimum line. It's just its natural stance is just to be drifting ever so slightly. You kind of understand why old racing drivers drive the way they do, because it's not about braking really late and getting on the power early. You just have to be so smooth with it.
You know, you get the corner right if you don't have to make any steering input at all, really.
It just settles, doesn't it, into its own.
It's just amazing fun.
I think probably of all the cars there, it did the most laps, which is, I think, endorsement in itself, really. It's just fantastic. It's all the others you're kind of really hanging on to it, and this you can just drive it with your fingertips. Everything's so fluid, but it just teaches you to find the very edges of the track, because you want to carry as much momentum as you can, because you just haven't got any power up the hill. So it's a good thing to learn, but it's good fun whether you kind of experience it or not, really. It's top.